Yo, what's up guys? In this video I am going to be showing you the top 5 solo bosses for you to kill in RS. I'm going to be ranking them in terms of money made per hour. And the reason I'm making this is because I know a lot of you are going to be getting turmoil and overloads and stuff on double XP weekend. So then you can just look towards this video and decide which boss that you want to try out first. So without further ado, let's get into it. First up at number 5 we have the Twin Furies. Now the Twin Furies are a relatively new boss. They got released with the God Wars 2 update. In my experience you can kill around 35 of these an hour, and not only will you be getting a lot of money from these, but you'll also get a decent amount of XP as well. As you can see, you'll get around 500k XP an hour if you do achieve these kills per hour. And let's talk about the main thing, the money. It's around 3 mil to 5 mil an hour. Now if you get around 35 kills an hour from my experience, because I've been killing Twin Furies a lot recently, you will be getting around 3 to 4 mil in just normal drops per hour. So that by itself is just really consistent money. And then if you are lucky enough to get one of the weapons or the crest, that just adds to the money. The crest is the one that you're really looking for. The crest is around 9 mil I think at the moment. So even if you do go dry there for a while, if you keep killing them, you are going to end up getting one. And you never know, if you are actually really lucky with getting crests, then the money per hour might actually go up. So in order to kill these effectively, you are going to need either a Noxious Scythe or a Dragon Rider Lance. You're going to need one of these two because then you can attack both of them at the same time with your AoE abilities. I'm not going to show you how to effectively kill all of the monsters in this video. I'm just going to make separate videos on them in the future. So if you want to kill any of the monsters that I mentioned in this video, just go ahead and look up a guide on them. Because for the most part I'm just generally going to go over them. But yeah, anyway, as for Twin Furies, it is really quite easy once you get into it. Once you get your own ability rotation going, then it actually gets quite fun as well. And what I actually do when I end up going, I try and beat my record time every kill. Adrenaline potions are a huge help here and for every boss, so I suggest you bring them if you want the highest kills per hour that you can possibly get. But yeah, that's pretty much it for Twin Furies. I'd highly recommend starting here if you haven't done any of the God Wars 2 dungeon bosses before. Or if you're relatively new to PVMing and you want to go for something easier, then I highly suggest going for the normal God Wars dungeon bosses. Most of them are around 2 to 3 mil an hour and they are pretty easy. So if you're worried about dying or you just think that you're not a good enough PVMer yet, then just go ahead and go to the first God Wars dungeon and then come back to the monsters that I'm going to mention in this video. Moving on to number 4, and it's another God Wars Dungeon 2 boss, and that is Vindictus. Now Vindictus has been the subject of a lot of talks around Reddit and stuff recently. I've seen people get insane GP per hour here, but I'm just going to keep it to what you should expect. So when you get decent at Vindictus, you should expect to get around a steady 35 kills an hour. And if you do get these 35 kills an hour, you should expect around 250 to 300k XP an hour. And as for the GP, you should expect to get around 4 mil to 7 mil an hour. Now like I mentioned before, Vindictus has been the central part of a lot of talks. And I've actually seen some screenshots on Reddit that say that Vindictus is over 10 mil an hour. This is because of her Dragon Rider Lance drops and the crest drops. Both of them are worth over like 15 mil each. And actually the Dragon Rider Lance is over 20 mil. And if you do have full reputation with Zaros, then you'll get that 100% drop increase, and then that will help you get the crest and Dragon Rider Lance a lot more frequently. So right now I'm not sure if Vindictus is over 8 mil or 10 mil or whatever I saw on Reddit earlier. That was only a very small sample size, so you know I'm not just going to go ahead and post insane GP per hour rates. I'm just going to kind of keep it as realistic as possible. Vindictus basic drops should earn you at least 4 mil an hour if you don't get really unlucky. 4 mil an hour is more or less the norm. And then let's say you get a big drop, so that means you made 20 mil in that hour. In most of the other hours you won't get a big drop, so then it will just average out to that 7 mil an hour like I mentioned before. So yeah, I'm sure you'll see how I worked out this GP per hour. Just remember, if you're watching this in the future, prices change. So what may be good money now or bad money now may not be good money or bad money in the future. So yeah, just keep that in mind, and also tell me what your experiences are with Vindictus as well if you have done it before. I myself haven't killed Vindictus that much, so I'm not a very big sample size. I just want to know if Vindictus is as good money as people are actually saying it is. But anyway, speaking of good money, let's go to the queen of good money, and that is the QBD. The QBD ranks in at number 3 if you can get more than 25 kills an hour, which really isn't that hard nowadays. Nowadays top PVMers aim to get 30 plus kills, but 25 plus kills is good enough. You won't be earning that much XP here, you'll only be getting around 100k to 130k, but the GP per hour is around 5 mil to 7 mil. It's actually probably higher now because double XP weekend is coming up and the prices have just inflated. If you're looking to do this before double XP weekend, honestly the prices are probably like 6 to 8 or 9 mil. The price of raw Dragonhide has just shot up recently, so that's going to be consistent money. But anyway, yeah, like I said before, QBD is just the queen of money making. She's always been one of the top money makers ever since her release, and not only has she been a good consistent money maker, but she is a good consistent money maker for just the average PVMer. And what I mean by that is that anyone can just go ahead and do QBD. You don't have to be concentrating on the kill constantly like you would be doing at Araxor, and also there's so many things that you have to do at Araxor that you don't have to do at QBD. It's just a lot less mechanical, and when you get good at it you can just mindlessly do it whilst watching something on TV. So yeah, if you're new to PVMing, and like I mentioned before, if you're going to be getting overloads or turmoil or whatever, and you've never done QBD before, I highly suggest coming here and just testing her out. You may end up really enjoy killing her, and the GP per hour is really good, so I see no reason not to. Ranking in at number 2, we have Nex. So for Nex, you should be getting around 6 to 10 kills per hour. 6 is usually the amount that you should get when you are starting out, and then you move towards 10 once you get better at her. You won't be getting an insane amount of XP here, you'll only be getting around 120 to 200k XP an hour, obviously depending on how many you kill. And then the GP per hour that you should get here is around 5 to 9 mil. Now I was a bit reluctant to mention Nex in this video because of the anti-walk mechanic that Jagex recently introduced. In the past people actually used to walk Nex, and this used to make Nex a lot easier. But since I don't do Nex frequently, I'm not sure how badly that affected her. I'm just assuming that this nerf wasn't that bad and didn't affect her too much. I haven't really heard any high level PVMers complaining about it, so I'm not really sure if it did actually affect her. But anyway, I'm sure you all know what the main drops of Nex are, and those are the tier 80 armors. These are the armors Torva, Pernix and Virtus. Apparently you have a 1 in 16 chance to get a drop, so let's say you're getting 8 kills per hour, you should expect to get 1 drop within 2 hours, on top of any normal drops that she drops. And then obviously your GP per hour will go up or down depending on which drop you get. Torva is the one that you want to be hoping for. Torva has been the most expensive for a while, and I think it's going to stay that way. Just because I think melee is the best combat style right now because of the Noxious Scythe. So yeah, I don't think Nex is ever going to stop being insanely good money until they release tier 90 armor. And yes, I know Malevolent and Serenic and Tectonic are tier 90 armors, but I just mean armors that don't degrade into dust. Because I think once they introduce these armors, all of the Nex armors will go down in price. But I don't know, I think it's going to be a while before we actually get to see that. Maybe the new solo boss that Jagex are releasing next year will actually drop the higher level armors, but we'll just have to wait and see. Moving on to number 1 and the best solo money making in the game, and who would have guessed, it's Araxor. You can kill Araxor around 5 to 10 times, obviously like Nex. 5 is when you're just starting out, and then as you get better you'll get around 10. Or maybe a bit less than 10, maybe 8 to 9 kills per hour is what you can realistically expect. Because I'm pretty sure 10 plus kills is for the main hardcore PVMers. And unless you plan on becoming one of them, I don't think you're going to be getting more than 10. But anyway, as for the XP per hour, you'll be getting around 140k to 280k. And for the GP per hour, it's around 8 to 16 mil. Now Araxor is actually considered 2 mil per kill once you factor in the spider legs and everything. But I'm kind of just dumbing down the GP per hour because I kind of want it to be as realistic as I can. You'll most probably earn more GP per hour than you can see on screen, but it obviously depends on how lucky you are. If you're unlucky like me and you go 100 kills dry at Araxor, then you probably won't be making anywhere near 8 mil an hour, but realistically you should be getting the drops eventually, and then that's where you'll make most of your money. Just a tip if you are going to be starting Araxor, this is what I did and what I think you guys should do as well. If you plan on using range to kill Araxor, the easiest paths to do this is when 2 and 3 are left open. In case you didn't know, Araxor has 3 paths and one of them closes every 4 days I think it is, so 2 paths will be open. And definitely if you're starting out, 2 and 3 are the easiest. So you want to make sure that number 1 is closed, and if you've ever seen what Araxor does, it's just like where all the spiders come out, so this means you won't have to deal with those spiders, and it just means that you can focus on Araxor, so this obviously just makes it a lot easier. So yeah, just do it when path 1 is closed and then go in through path 2. That's what I did for my first 100 kills, and I found it by far easier than doing path 1. So yeah, that's just a little bit of advice for those of you that actually want to get started on Araxor. Also, just going to share something that I've heard. Apparently if you get good at during Araxor, you can get around 15 kills an hour, and that equates to more than 20 mil. Now I'm pretty sure this is actually true because I've seen this being posted in a lot of places. Obviously I'm guessing you have to be a high tier PVMer in order to do this, and so does your partner as well. But yeah, that's just insane, earning 20 mil an hour from a boss. It kind of just makes me want to learn Araxor properly for myself, and I actually think I'm going to do that in the future. But anyway, that's the end of the video. I hope this helped you, and good luck to anyone that is going to be trying bossing for the first time after double XP. I hope you guys get a lot of drops. Also, I'm going to be streaming on double XP weekend if you didn't already know. I know I've mentioned it in a few of my other videos, but just in case you didn't know, just go and follow my Twitch, it's at the very bottom of the description. And don't worry, you don't have to be checking it constantly. I'll post a 10-second video before I go live. So yeah, just make sure you tune into the stream. And as always, thank you for watching, subscribe if you're new, and peace!